Welcome to Vegan Method. In this video I show you how I drain tofu, and I will also flavour it with some hoisin and garlic and cook it off in a stir fry. Please feel free to like and subscribe or leave comments below. Thank you. So I'm using plain tofu. It's medium firm, unflavoured, natural. Tofu can be a bit boring, so it's good to flavour it with strong flavours. So if I ever get into the packet, I will drain it in the sink and get out any water that was already in the packet, just to start off the draining process. So we need to give it a good shake and a squeeze to try and get as much liquid out of it as we can, and replace that liquid later with flavour. So you can see the tofu out of the packet is quite thick. We're going to squash that down to get as much liquid out as we can. Now there's no incorrect way of squashing the tofu. I've tried pans, I've tried bucks, and after a few accidents I've found a better way for myself, but like I say, there's no incorrect way to do this. So for me, what I did, I bought some small chopping boards and I drilled holes in them, got some screws and some wing nuts, and created myself a little tofu squasher. So I'm going to put the tofu inside the tofu press and tighten the bolts and start squashing out any liquid I can. So now I just need to tighten the nuts. I've sped this up because it was quite fiddly. However, I still feel this is better than balancing bucks or using pots and pans, for me anyway. So I put the tofu press inside of a Tupperware tub just to collect the liquid that's going to be squeezed out as we tighten the nuts. And now I'll just pop it in the fridge. And this is just to give you a rough idea of the scale of the tofu press. Tofu was left in the fridge overnight, and now I'm just going to drain off the excess liquid. And as you can see, the tofu has reduced in size quite dramatically also. As you can see, we're left with a block of raw, unflavoured tofu. I'm just going to chop it up into smaller pieces, ready to be flavoured. So I've cut the tofu into little rectangles, which I like as they are bite-sized and they're easy to turn in the frying pan. Now to make the sauce. Firstly, I put some olive oil into a bowl, and this will help coat the tofu. And then I'm adding some hoisin sauce, which is a really big flavour. It goes so well with tofu. Remember, if you're recording, not to put the bottle in front of the camera. And now I'm going to add some sambal oelik sauce, which is chilli sauce and garlic. It's quite spicy, but it's not over the top. Final thing I'm going to add is some garlic salt. With tofu being quite plain, I'm going to keep ramping up that flavour. Now you want to give it a good old stir until it's all mixed together. So now we just need to cover the tofu with the sauce, getting every last bit out of the bowl to make sure we've got as much flavour going into the tofu again as possible. Once all the sauce is in the bowl, I made sure that each piece of tofu was turned and covered in the sauce. Once all the tofu was covered, it went back into the fridge to marinate overnight. So now we come to cooking. So I've put 100 grams of jasmine rice on the boil. I've got a frying pan with olive oil warming up. I'm just going to cut some onions into quarters and put them in the pan. I'm also going to get some broccoli, chop them up into small pieces and add them to the pan straight away. And now I'm going to add half a green pepper, just chopped into small bite-sized pieces, straight into the pan. Now I've grated a carrot, we'll take the top and tail off and then cut them into thin slices. So once the rice is boiling, you need to turn it down to make sure the rice doesn't overcook, and the carrots are almost finished. They'll go straight into the frying pan. So all the vegetables have gone in the pan. It's very hot at the moment and I'll turn it down just to make sure the vegetables don't burn. Decided to cook the tofu in a separate pan to make sure that I can turn them easily and they'll all get cooked evenly. And as you can see, we need to keep turning the tofu regularly to make sure that it's got colour on all sides. The rice, and I've left it on the heat just to steam it through, and the tofu is almost finished as well. So tofu is a good colour all over. I've added it to the pan of vegetables and another serving of hoisin sauce. I stir through and then it's ready for serving. I've added sesame seeds and cut spring onions. And that's it. We've got soft on the inside, crispy on the outside tofu with lots of flavour, garlic, chilli and hoisin. It's just a very tasty dish, so hope you make this and enjoy.